David, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't see your picture. Do you see mine?
Yeah, yeah, I see you. I see. I can see you, and I can hear you. I'm just finishing up a baseball practice, so I don't have my video camera on.
I forgot you coached your son's team. Yep.
Yeah. So I think I got it to work though. I'm recording, and everything should be all set.
Well, I'd like to see the baseball practice.
Yeah, right. They're just wrapping up now. They're just coming off the field. We use the pitching machine to throw fly balls to the outfield.
Never used one. I was a little leaguer myself. As a little leaguer, I was always intimidated by these hotshot kids who thought they were, God's answer to pitching, and they just wanted to throw fast, and they weren't all that accurate. So
yeah,
I was intimidated. I was never a good little leaguer.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough sometimes.
So were you always a baseball fan?
Yeah, I mean, I played Little League. I played in high school, and then my boys got into it, and they're much better than I was. I mean, they're pretty talented, so it makes it easy.
I grew up in New York and was a Yankees fan, and the era that I saw, we went to Yankee Stadium a few times a year. I saw Yogi Berra, Elston Howard, Whitey Ford, Moose Skowron, Bobby Richardson, Scooter, and then I forget who took over after him on shortstop, and those guys. And it was an era, it was an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Cleat Boyer on third.
Yeah, I was a Yankee fan myself growing up. I'm still a Yankee fan, really, but I don't watch too much baseball anymore.
I saw Mickey Mantle hit home runs. Wow. And I heard on the radio Roger Maris getting his 61st.
Wow.
I had this little radio that it was so primitive. You had to clip alligator clips to the springs on your box spring to get the reception after hours when your parents thought you were sleeping. And I heard that home run. So gorilla like the animal.
Yes. And it's the tipping one is great, because then if you have wood chips and stuff, it accumulates wood chips, so you can just dump them out. Do you have one, Mary?
No, not yet, but I'm going to
get you deserve one. You just go out any time of day and buy it for yourself.
I know.
You don't need a holiday or birthday.
Yeah, I already asked for one, but it apparently fell in the cracks, so
yeah, that's where you take care of yourself.
Admiring of it when I saw it. I was like, you got to see this. I'm like, I need to get that.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Lorraine, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm great. Yeah.
By the way, we're not going to see Jay tonight. We're only going to hear him because he's at his son's baseball practice. Little League.
Oh, wait. I see him.
I'm in the car now.
Oh, okay. Got him.
The other coaches are giving him a pep talk after practice.
So we're still waiting for 3 other members, I think.
Yeah, there's four members here currently.
Okay. Well, Vern said he would be here, and as I mentioned before, I did not hear back from Chris yet. But Jay, you did send Chris an invitation, right?
Yeah, they all, I sent everyone invitations to the meeting. I believe the agenda went out to everybody.
Yep. Well, I'll wait another couple minutes. I got about 3 past. I'll wait till 5 past, if that works.
Sounds good.
I mean, we technically have a quorum, but I'd like everybody here.
Mhm.
Hi, Lucy. Come on. You want to come up and say hi? You want to come up and say hi? Oh, do.
Oh, he's very cute.
Yep.
Gee.
She's beautiful. And does not like being picked up. So
Maybe she doesn't want to Zoom.
Right,
No.
she's shy.
who does, you know?
I don't know. There must be somebody.
What kind of dog is that? Is it a purebred or a
No,
mix?
well, she's mostly Australian cattle dog, or called a
Mm.
heeler, Heel, because she does her job
Yes.
by biting at the heels of the cattle.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
But I've seen pictures of other ones, and they're very scruffy looking, broader, and she's much more fine lined and got a beautiful glossy coat. So, but I've been on trails with and people come up and say, "Oh, is that a heeler?" So they know more than I do.
Wow.
It's also they're bred with dingoes.
Oh, okay.
But we got her when she was about 6 months old, and she's our first female dog, and she's a gem. She's just the best.
Nice.
That's good.
I'm going to reluctantly start the meeting. So it is time is, pardon me. The time is 6:07. I'm going to call to order this special meeting of the South Kingstown Conservation Commission, and the date is May 10th, 2021. We'll begin with roll call. Mary Talbot Robiano,
Here.
Matt Bradywood,
Here.
Lorraine Jubert,
Here.
Ann Heffron, Vern Wayman, not here, and Chris O'Connor. And we're also joined by our staff person, principal planner, Jay Parker, And is there anyone else in the Zoom whom we should acknowledge at this time, Jay?
Mr. Chairman, I think Vern is here.
Okay, he might be muted.
Oh, hold on a minute. There we go. I got him. He's coming in as a panelist. He was an attendee.
Okay.
Hard to do from my phone.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
Hey,
No.
Vern.
For some reason, I'm on the outside looking in, but I wasn't able to communicate. So
Okay. So you are here, and
I am here.
very good. So we've had our roll call. There is no minutes to approve. Our one item is the Conservation Commission fiscal year 2020/2021 budget and how we want to allocate those funds. The total of those funds is $939. Is that correct, Jay?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And we discussed one option last meeting to sponsor 2 water quality monitoring sites on the Saugatucket River. And the water quality, it's done through Watershed Watch through URI. And the sponsors of these sites would be Friends of the Saugatucket. So that's the trail that we would be taking to sponsor these sites. But there are 2 different pricing tiers depending upon the depth of the water. A so-called shallow site, which we would be looking at 2 on the Saugatucket River, is less than 9 feet deep. A deeper site, obviously more than 9 feet, would apply to Saugatucket Pond, and that would be $700. The shallow one is $500. So we would essentially, if we were to go this route and put our money to monitoring, the water quality monitoring, we would be essentially doing the lion's share of 2 shallow sites. And it would be up to the Friends of the Saugatucket to make up the additional $61. So that's one action. But I also asked members to be thinking of other ways that we may want to spend some of this money or all of this money. And I wondered if anybody had any, came up with any other ideas, or what's the thought consensus of the group?
I think this is a good use of our money. I think it's very worthwhile.
And it's also doing a town service too, by the way, as most of our
Right.
stuff is done.
Yeah.
But
And I could not think of any other use of the money.
okay, does anybody else have any ideas on what might be a better way to spend the money, or an additional way to spend some of the money? Any thoughts, anybody?
Well, I was supportive before of this utilization, so I pretty much thought that if we were going to assemble, I'd be reinforcing that same
Right.
conclusion.
Okay. Well, at this point, I would entertain a motion for the Conservation Commission to allocate its fiscal year 2020-21 budget to fund 2 water quality monitoring sites on the Saugatucket River. Does anyone want to make that motion?
Mr. Chairman, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Yep.
Mr. McCusker sent me a message, and I just wanted to relay it to you. We wanted to let the board know that the sampling season is from May to October each year, and they test for bacteria, pH, temperature, nutrients, and other items in ponds
Excellent.
outside of that. So just before you actually made the motion, just
Yeah. No, thank you. That's good. Because I had put a call into him asking it, because what we're paying for, by the way, is the actual testing. It's volunteers who go out and take these samples, and depending upon what we're testing for at that time, we go out. I say we, I have not done this, but people go out sometimes twice a week, sometimes once a week for one, and then the other week for another group that they do. So it's varied that way. So we're paying for or contributing towards the actual lab work that's done. Volunteers do the actual collection of the samples, and this goes to lab work.
It also covers the training of the volunteers. So
Okay.
that's an important piece too, because they're an accredited lab equal to any other lab of the highest quality, and they maintain those standards.
Thank you. I didn't know that. Good.
Mm.
Thank you. Does anyone want to make that motion?
I'll motion that we spend our budget this year for the water quality testing on the Saugatucket River to support the Friends of the Saugatucket River.
Mhm.
That motion was by Mary Talbot Rabiano. Anybody want to second it?
I'll second.
Vern Wayman seconded it. Any further discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Sounds unanimous. Motion is passed. There isn't, Jay, is there any related correspondence and public comment that is on the agenda?
No, there is not. I just wanted to let you know that time is of the essence on this
Yep.
with the funding. And
Yep.
hold on a second, my son's getting in the car. But so if you can get the letter to me, we can get it up to town council and get it on their the council agenda on the 24th, I believe.
Well, actually, Jay, it does not need to be on the town council agenda. 6 years ago, we had a review of our budget. And the reason was because where it came up for us to vote on the Conservation Commission budget, we found that the conservation in name only had these other groups that we were giving money to unbeknownst to us. So, and this is at least 6 years ago. So at that time, we got control, autonomy over our budget. And since then, we voted to do tree plantings. We voted to pay Save the Bay for their program where they come into elementary schools for education on stormwater runoff. So we have control over this budget. We don't need to, go to the town council for this. We haven't in the last 6 years.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I did, you had sent me an email to that regard earlier in the week or last week, and I managed to reach out to our finance director as well as the planning director, and both of them said that it needs, because it's not a direct expenditure from the commission, like for instance, with the trees, you are completely able to purchase trees and have them planted or what have you. But because this is a payment to another agency for something that is not directly related with it's not like your water quality sampling program. It's being done through a nonprofit, through someone else. That appropriation needs to get, if you were spending the money directly, it would be okay. But since you aren't spending the money directly, you need the council's authorization to appropriate it to that.
Well, for
Jay,
at least 2 years, we paid money to Save the Bay for them to come in and do their programs in the elementary schools. And we did not seek permission from the town council to do that.
Okay, I think I would recommend that you contact either Jamie Rabbit or, I took your what was relayed to me, and I went to the finance director, and they weren't concerned with the amount per se, but proper process, proper procedure is the alternative. So it could simply be a different view from a different finance director at the time, but I'm not in a position where I can advise the board that yes, you don't need approval, and we can make that appropriation without council.
So in terms of communicating this issue we paid for the Tuckertown Pond monitoring directly from the Conservation Commission to Watershed Watch for at least 1 year, if not more. And then other people did the actual monitoring. So there is a precedent which you might want to mention if you want to speed up the process of expending the funds.
I would also mention that when this happened, that we changed the autonomy of the actual budget, that there's no one in the planning department who was there then. We did not even have, the current town manager was not there then. There is not a member on the town council who was there at that time. And this was approved by the town council, that we could have autonomy over our budget. And so now to change
Okay,
that.
but Mr. Chairman, if you could, if this was like approved by the town council in a meeting.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
there a way, do you remember about when it was that I could find minutes from that so I could show the
Oh.
finance director?
It would be hard. I would say, Lorraine, when did you join the commission?
I don't know, it's been a while. I
Yeah, I
have
know.
to look it up.
Okay, because it was possibly the next fiscal year after Lorraine
Oh,
was,
yeah.
and it would be about this time of year.
Okay,
So, but that's the best I can narrow it down.
all right,
Yeah,
I'll try to
I'd
find it.
Okay, I would be happy to write a letter to the council notifying them of how we're spending the budget this year. But it's not a request because that request had already been granted X numbers of years ago.
Okay,
That's just my position on it. I don't want to go backwards in time.
yeah,
But I'd be happy to write a letter telling them what we're doing, if you think that's a good idea.
yeah, I mean, I'm just the messenger, so I try to facilitate this for you guys in a timely fashion.
Yep, I understand.
And what I was, how it was laid out to me. So I will certainly go back and look at that, see if I can find that, and I'll let you know if I do.
Sure, okay. Correspondence, public comment, Jay?
We do not have any.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else to add before we adjourn? Anything at all pertinent to tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Lorraine has moved, and do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mary has seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
All right.